Hey everybody, welcome back to more fun at the Red Barn. You can see something different this time. The Ferrari car is out in the driveway and virtually no progress has been made on it this week because of a couple things. One, world famous Joe Huffaker is here helping with a customer car. Martin's over there doing the real work while Joe's playing manager supervisor. We've got a beautiful, I mean beautiful mini race car. This thing is absolutely stunning. And the owner is asking for a few modifications to be made. We're putting a new dash in it. I say we, I'm going to be plasma cutting him an aluminum dash. And Martin's moving the seat over, he's moving the steering column around, and so that took up some time. And then a good buddy of mine needed some updates made to his Lotus Replica. And I just got nothing done on the Ferrari, but a couple of little things. Prep the exhaust for the O2 sensor, so open up a 3/4 inch hole, got the stainless steel bungs over there, and we'll get this all done. So, progress towards making this thing run. So when I said we barely got anything done, I mean barely, and here's what it is. These are the Ferrari fuel rails. This is where the injectors go. And they had not proprietary, but they had a regular old OEM kind of a fuel fitting. And I want to run all AN stuff on this build. So Martin was kind enough. We got these solid steel AN6-6 AN stainless steel weld-on components and sliced the top of the fuel rail off. This was the threaded section that was here, and just welded on these AN fittings. And then these are just leftovers from the LS build, but you've got the the ability to just have a semi-quick disconnect. This just threads on, and it's just a totally cool look, very race. It's going to be awesome. And just point of interest here, you might say, what's that? And if I took this off, you'd say, that looks an awful lot like a bicycle Schrader valve, and it is. So remember when I mentioned that these are dead-headed fuel rails? Well, this is what I mean. The fuel comes in here, it pressurizes this fuel rail, and it goes to the injectors. There's no sort of loop back, to the other fuel rail, and then excess pressure would then be sent through a return line back to the tank. The deadhead means it's got a dead head. It stops right here. And in the Ferrari, what they determined, well, I guess, is there's the possibility that when you first pressurize this rail, it can have residual air in it. So you can actually bleed the fuel rail through these Schrader valves, which is kind of cool. So anyway, there you go. So that is pretty much the only update for this week in terms of actual progress on the car. But I do have some other cool stuff that showed up in the international mail. Check this out. All right, I fully expect this is not that exciting for you, but it's very exciting for me, and that is the European order showed up. And again, nothing you haven't maybe seen before, but I haven't, Ferrari parts. This is all the intake plenum resealing stuff, valve cover resealing stuff, main seals, trans mount, engine mounts, transmission filters, all the seals and gaskets, and some miscellaneous nuts and bolts, and exhaust parts and exhaust gaskets and radiator stuff. And yeah, it's all very cool. And well, spark plugs. while this is not, here's my formal unboxing of one of my favorite parts, the oil filter. And many of you may have noticed this on the car already. They're branded Ferrari, right? Obviously, Ferrari doesn't make oil filters, but it's just so cool. I love it. Anyway, and you know, their other stuff, it's, you know, like genuine Ferrari. It's all very cool. So big shout out to this company in Europe called Euro Spares. I ordered this stuff. I think they're in England, but it doesn't matter. They're far away. And I ordered this stuff, I think it was on like a Wednesday, and I get an email notification from DHL. Your stuff's going to be here on Monday. It gets here faster from Europe than it does from the East Coast. It's amazing. So anyway, now the fun begins. Now I get to pull the drivetrain, service the motor, work on the electronics, and we're closing in on firing this thing. So hopefully in a few more weeks we'll be hitting the key and seeing what happens. So here we go. With the Ferrari car apart, I couldn't help. I just couldn't help it. I had to set up the whole exhaust system on the table and just look at it as a piece of art. And oh my goodness, it is the coolest looking thing sitting here on its own. It deserves a full walk around. Look at this thing. It is just the coolest. Oh my God, it's fabulous looking. You know, we got like the artsy-fartsy shots where you get the curves, right? It's just, yeah, that's Martin in the background saying it's to die for. Yeah, could not be happier with how this turned out. It's, you know, not that exciting maybe for some of you, but very exciting for those of us at the Red Barn, I can tell you that. The Ferrari 914 exhaust. One of one. And that's Martin. Again, another one of one. And then really the only other thing I got done this week was I changed the fittings on this one set of lines I had. So I now have there will be an oil cooler between the low pressure return. This line goes to an oil cooler, then comes back and dumps into the air oil separator. But just to get it running, I did an oil cooler bypass line. So that's just temporary. I'll be redoing that. And then I started in on trying to figure out where I wanted to mount the ECU. And right now, I whipped up this little bracket. It's just a, you know, aluminum bracket with a little bit of a bend in it, rubber isolators, and I think, kind of dark down in there, but that will potentially sit there. And then the footrest, you know, the footboard for the passenger goes right here, and you know, it's still got plenty of airflow back there. And I don't know if that's where it's actually going to end up, but that's where it's sitting right now. So short one this time. That's going to do it for this episode, but that does set us up for next time, pulling out the drivetrain and servicing the engine with all those lovely parts we saw, getting everything figured out. Oh, I got to send the flywheel and clutch out to be rebuilt, and start working on the wiring. So that's going to do it for this time. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Everybody take care. We'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.